What if the person you love most is also the person you are most afraid of losing? For years, Nick Nelson and Charlie Spring have survived bullying, mental health struggles, family problems, insecurity, and the terrifying process of growing up. They have always found their way back to each other. But now, everything is changing. Nick is going to university. Charlie is becoming more independent. Their friends are choosing different futures. And for the first time, Nick and Charlie are forced to face a terrifying question. Can a love that began in high school survive adulthood? Because in Heartstopper Forever, the biggest threat to Nick and Charlie's relationship is not another person. It is the future. And before the movie ends, the couple everyone thought was unbreakable will face the one thing nobody expected: a breakup. But what happens next changes everything. The story begins during the final year of school. Nick Nelson and Charlie Spring are still together, and from the outside, they look happier than ever. Charlie is no longer the shy, bullied teenager we met at the beginning of the story. He has changed. He has become confident. He has found his voice. And now he decides to run for head boy at Truham Grammar School. But Charlie is not running simply because he wants a title. He wants to change the school. He wants bullied students to feel safe. He wants queer students to know they are not alone. And during his campaign speech, Charlie openly talks about the bullying and homophobia he experienced. He doesn't hide his past. Instead, he uses it as the reason he wants to help others. And against all expectations, Charlie wins. He becomes head boy. For Charlie, this is a huge moment. The boy who once struggled to speak up is now standing in front of the entire school. But while Charlie is moving forward, Nick is quietly falling apart. Nick is preparing to leave for university, and he has chosen the University of Leeds. It is exciting. It is a major opportunity. But there is one problem. Leeds is far away, and for the first time since Nick and Charlie got together, they are going to live separate lives. Nick begins worrying about everything that could go wrong. What if Charlie needs him? What if he cannot be there? What if Charlie becomes happier without him? What if university changes everything? At first, Nick tries to hide these fears, but the anxiety slowly begins to take control. He struggles with university applications. He becomes withdrawn. He drinks more. He becomes jealous. And sometimes he simply stares into the distance, unable to explain what is happening inside his head. Charlie notices. Of course he does. Charlie has spent years learning how to recognize when someone is suffering. And now, for the first time, the person who needs help is Nick. Charlie tries to reach him. He asks Nick what is wrong. He gives him space. He tries to create a safe environment where Nick can talk. He even gives Nick a camera. The idea is simple. Nick can use it to capture the moments they share, the memories they are creating, the memories they can look back on when they are apart. But Nick does not know how to accept the help, because deep down, he is afraid. For years, Nick has been Charlie's protector. He helped Charlie through some of the darkest moments of his life. But now, Charlie is becoming stronger. Charlie is building his own life. Charlie has his own friends, his own ambitions, and his own future. And Nick begins to wonder, if Charlie no longer needs him, then who is he? That question slowly becomes the center of Nick's entire story. While Nick is struggling emotionally, Charlie is becoming more independent. He continues therapy with Jeff. He works on his mental health, and he tries to stay aware of the old habits that could return when life becomes stressful. Charlie is doing better, but recovery is never a straight line. As the pressure of school, leadership, and his relationship begins to build, Charlie starts struggling with food again. The old problems have not completely disappeared. They are simply waiting for the right moment to return. And Nick notices. This creates a strange reversal in their relationship. In the past, Nick was the one constantly checking on Charlie. Now, Charlie is the one asking Nick, "Are you okay?" But Nick keeps saying yes, even when he clearly isn't. Charlie tries to encourage Nick to apply for a job at a local pet shop. The idea is to give Nick something positive to focus on, something that could help him prepare for university, something that could help him reconnect with himself. And for a while, it seems to help. But Nick's problems are much deeper than simply needing something to do. His anxiety is connected to his family, his father, his fear of abandonment, and his belief that he has to be strong for everyone else. Nick has spent so long protecting Charlie that he has forgotten how to protect himself. And slowly, the pressure begins to build. Nick and Charlie are not the only ones facing an uncertain future. Their entire friend group is reaching a turning point. Tao and Elle are struggling with their relationship. They love each other, but they also want different things. Elle dreams of pursuing her art, and eventually she decides to move to Berlin. Tao is devastated. He wants to support Elle, but he is also afraid that supporting her means losing her. They break up. Then they get back together. Then they break up again. Their relationship becomes a reflection of the bigger theme of the film. Sometimes two people can love each other deeply and still not be ready to live the same life. Meanwhile, Tara and Darcy are thinking about their future. They plan to travel through Europe together. Isaac decides he wants to become a writer. Tori continues her relationship with Michael. Their relationship does not look like the traditional romance people expect. Tori is asexual and on the aromantic spectrum, but she and Michael understand each other. Their connection is based on companionship, trust, and genuine happiness. And Michael has his own dream. He wants to become an Olympic ice skater. Then there is Imogen. After years of questioning herself, she finally comes out as a lesbian. She and Sahar do not immediately become a couple. Instead, they remain close friends. And Sahar begins pursuing a solo music career. Everyone is moving. Everyone is changing. Everyone is preparing for a future that may take them in different directions. And Nick notices all of this, because the more everyone changes, the more afraid he becomes that he and Charlie will change too. As Nick and Charlie prepare for the future, the pressure begins to destroy their emotional balance. Charlie is becoming more confident. He wins the head boy election, helps younger queer students, and begins building a life outside his relationship. Nick is proud of him, but secretly, Nick is terrified. For years, Nick is Charlie's protector. Now he worries that Charlie no longer needs him. He starts drinking more, withdrawing from everyone, and struggling with anxiety about university. Charlie tries to help, but Nick keeps pushing him away. Then, at a party, everything finally explodes. Nick and Charlie argue about university and their future. Charlie says he wants Nick to be happy and believes Nick should not have to spend his life worrying about him. Nick insists that he is happiest with Charlie, but the conversation becomes more painful. Charlie suggests they take a break. Nick hears it as a breakup. And just like that, the couple who survived so much together suddenly separate. The heartbreaking part is that neither of them has stopped loving the other. They are simply terrified of growing apart. Meanwhile, the rest of the group is changing too. Elle prepares to move to Berlin to pursue her art, while Tao struggles to accept that their relationship may not survive their different futures. Tara and Darcy plan to travel through Europe. Isaac begins writing a novel. Tori continues her relationship with Michael, who is chasing his Olympic ice skating dream. Everyone is moving forward. And Nick and Charlie must now figure out how to do the same, separately. The breakup affects both Nick and Charlie deeply. Charlie throws himself into his responsibilities as head boy, but the stress causes some of his old struggles to return. Nick, meanwhile, tries to understand who he is without constantly protecting Charlie. Eventually, Nick has an honest conversation with his brother David and begins to understand how much his family life has shaped his anxiety. But neither Nick nor Charlie can truly move on. Then Charlie discovers the camera he gave Nick. Inside are photographs of their memories together. Looking through them, Charlie realizes that their love has not disappeared. They simply became overwhelmed by fear. So Charlie develops the photographs and leaves them for Nick, along with a letter asking him to meet at the beach. The beach is where their relationship began, and there, Nick and Charlie finally speak honestly. Charlie admits he was afraid Nick was sacrificing his future for him. Nick admits he was terrified that Charlie no longer needed him. They realize they were both trying to protect each other, but accidentally pushing each other away. And then, finally, they reunite. Not because all their problems have magically disappeared, but because they still choose each other. The story ends with prom. Nick and Charlie return to the place where they first kissed and remember how far they have come. But the real ending comes in the epilogue. Nick leaves for the University of Leeds. Charlie visits him and slowly becomes part of his new life. They are still together, but now they are learning how to love each other across distance and change. Then they open Charlie's memory book. The pages are filled with photographs and memories from their relationship, but many pages are still blank. And those blank pages are the film's final message. Their story is ending, but their lives are not. There will be more memories, more adventures, more difficult moments, and more reasons to choose each other. The rest of the group also moves forward. Tara and Darcy travel through Europe. Isaac continues writing a novel. Tao visits Elle in Berlin to see her art exhibition. Sahar performs as a solo artist while Imogen supports her. And Tori continues her relationship with Michael as he pursues his Olympic dream. In the end, Heartstopper Forever is not really about whether Nick and Charlie will stay together. It is about whether love can survive change. And the answer is yes, but only when both people are willing to grow. Nick and Charlie began their story as teenagers. Now they are stepping into adulthood. They may not know exactly what the future holds, but they know one thing: they are still choosing each other. And sometimes that is the most hopeful ending of all. If you enjoyed this breakdown, share your favorite Heartstopper moment in the comments, and subscribe for more movie recaps, endings explained, and full story breakdowns. Because every ending leaves behind a new beginning.